So like most places, we got pretty hammered by Winter Storm Elliot. Here you can see Phillip shoveling out the boat for at least the second time. We were really concerned about adding too much weight and things like that. We still own our Hunter 30, but we are not able to get into the marina there. It's actually behind a locked gate, so we weren't able to go dig that one out as well, which was okay because it's like a 30-minute drive to get around Lake Nakatawa to get to that boat. But you can see that there's a lot of drifting and things like that. It was pretty slippery. I didn't go with Phillip. I just kind of let him do that by himself. I was not going to try to get into the middle of standing on top of that slippery boat. I'm not quick enough on my feet. I would have ended up back on the pavement. So yeah, lots of shoveling, lots of scraping ice, things like that. We weren't too concerned about scratching the boat because we are going to have to repaint it. We're going to have to repaint the non-skid. We're going to have to just paint the whole thing in general. Eventually we'll repaint the hull as well. And yes, we are going to repaint it yellow. We've actually become quite attached to it, so we're definitely keeping that. We actually spent a lot of time in this episode. It starts off with, well, obviously here we're shoveling, and then we go over some of the fairing of the ceiling. There's a lot of work to be done there yet. Philip's only been able to get a small portion of that done. Because we're in Michigan in January and December and things like that, it's really cold, and that product has to have the right temperature to dry cure at, I guess. So it's kind of an ongoing project. We're going to be doing that, I think, for a while. We're going to be living with that ugly green sailing. It's like the worst mint chocolate chip and sage combination. I don't know how you get those two colors in the same, but it is. It's really ugly, but it's better than having it be all lumpy and bumpy and pieces of wood here and there and things like that. Eventually, when it's all flat, we will have it, we'll paint over it, so it'll be nice and just kind of shiny, I guess, paint. Probably an off-white. I don't know, we're going to have to find something that goes okay with the yellow and the blue that we are making the cushions out of, that the cushions are made out of, I guess. It's going to be a journey, and it's probably going to be that green color for a long time, but... The other thing that we do is we go over Phillip moving some of the electrical panels back and forth. He's just trying to put them in a spot that makes more sense, get everything a little bit more cohesive. Everything in the boat is getting rewired. We're not running new wires up the mast just yet, but at some point we'll do that too. Just kind of depends on how that goes, if we get everything working, if stuff's not wanting to work. Right now, obviously, with this amount of snow, we're not going to be putting Phillip up the mast because that would get pretty dangerous. There's not a great way to do that when it's cold and yucky and gross. So eventually we'll get there, but not yet.
Let's see if it opens. To see how stuff fares down in here. Is it cold? That feels way warmer down here. I made a mess with the floor again. Here is the cabin top. And you can see there are two screws, and then there's actually a third one right there in the center of the frame. And there is a piece of teak on the deck to help shed some water between the winch bases, and these screws help hold it on right here. And these two were leaking, and so all of this was wet, and I think it was wet a long time ago and they repaired it because this is all solid. It seems like they pumped something into the deck to fill it. So I've got it back to mostly solid wood. I'll have to work on patching it up, repairing it. So, and then I've got this one that I need to patch and fill, but this is mostly, I believe, underneath the hatch covering for this.
Go ahead.
So this one I might just fill with foam because it doesn't need to have the same compressive loads. So projects are never ending on a boat. So our current plan is to kind of fair out the ceiling. So I was grinding down these wood pieces and trying to flatten any bumps out best I could to give myself a good head start. I've got fairing compound. I think it's going to be warm enough tomorrow. I should be able to get a coat on.
In the morning, if you like, said Monica. Only mind you, it is a dangerous place, but you must do exactly as I tell you.
So last time I was on the boat, was working on putting a fairing compound on the cabin top. So that's kind of where we got to. It's better than it was, but by no means is it perfect. Probably get to sand in it at some point. It's not supposed to be warm enough for a little while, so it's down on the priority list to sand, but it's we filled in a lot of the bumps and stuff, so it should be better. I'm sure it's gonna need at least one more coat because I'm not a professional. So whenever I did drywall mud at my house that I own, I needed about 4 coats every time. I'm like, yeah, man, could have saved myself a lot of money if I could have do it better the first time. But so here's the head, the section that has like 3 coats on it, and this actually looks pretty good. I think this will look nice. So the rest of it needs for sure another coat. But we're getting somewhere. So. A few days ago, I moved this DC fuse panel, fuses. It has the Ericson and the Ericson logo. I think it's kind of cool, so we're keeping that. Then there is the AC panel on here is just a household one, and it's buried inside there. It's only a 2 position, so we got a new AC panel, and we're gonna mount that right here to cover up the hole from the speaker, because we're not gonna put the speaker back in. So we're gonna do that tonight, and maybe we'll start trying to pull wires. We just figure out how far we need to go from the main in here to the like the AC in, so the shore power cord. So to crawl back in there and figure out how much. I think it was 8.2 I need to buy. So 8 gauge, 2 strands with a ground. So I gave us template. May have modified it slightly because that's not good. Uh-oh. Is it actually gonna cover the hole? 5 1/4. Which is 5 1/2. No, it is 5 1/8. Yeah, you should barely cover the hole. Widen it out. So we'll just have to center this the best we can. Alrighty. Template. Oh, I forgot my earmuffs. Damn it. Most of working on a boat is just being good at creating tons of messes. And then being okay with not cleaning everything up right away. You can see my last mess from cutting in here, some sawdust. So, get to cut a new hole. No, I get to clean it. Also, boat projects just mean you get to clean a lot every day, almost. And then it still looks messy. But the joys of living on a boat. Well, not literally living right now, but joys of owning a boat. Old boat that needs work. check the fitment. See how it looks. A little bit crooked. A little tight on the top edge. And this edge. So we'll just clean it up. There we go. That looks nice. There we go. The AC panel. All right. So this is our, so we are in the quarter berth right now, looking aft. And then on this bulkhead we mounted this would be a DC fuse panel. So these are all your fuses, and then these are your breakers to turn on and off the circuit. And then we also mounted an AC breaker panel. So we moved this panel from underneath the companionway steps, partly because it's further away from where there's a chance of it getting wet. The other part is we're hoping to modify the companionway like washboard style, and it might interfere or partially block this panel from being accessed. And then I've relabeled these for what we're intending to use them for. We are going to add another 6-position breaker panel next to the companionway, but it's a modern waterproof one. And that'll be for nav lights and other stuff that's used more frequently. So the reason we moved it here is because behind here there's just an opening, and so the other part has the pedestal, and then there's the like where you walk, and so there's the rest of this goes there, and so there's not much space to run wiring. So we're gonna put in a terminal strips, and we're gonna connect all the wires there, and so this bundle is all of our new wires that go out there. And so and then also our shore power cord is just right back there, so then to jump here is a short jump, and it just kind of consolidates the wiring all to one corner of the boat, which will be nice for future either expansions or if we have to troubleshoot anything. So that's why we moved everything here. Positionally, some of it got laid out because this one had a speaker, so we were trying to cover up the hole. This one we put here. Part partially I just centered it between it, but there is a seam in this panel right here, and so there's extra thickness behind it, and so we didn't want to cut into that, so that's why this one is here. The only thing that else is going to get added back onto this wall, probably somewhere right around here, is another disconnect, and that'll be for our 48-volt battery bank. And then this one will just be a 12-volt disconnect. So.
Love it.